the purpose of this press conference is to highlight Governor Eric Holcomb's latest executive order in regards to restarting Indiana's economy. I wanted to remind you that we had an interpreter that interprets my words and all of our words. Usually when we do these videos, we have had a few Hammond families reach out to us during the pandemic and ask us if we'd provide an interpreter. And we've been doing so during our coronavirus task force meetings. And unfortunately, because of the short nature of the amount of time we had to get on to do this video, we could not line up the interpreter for this video. So when we get done with this video, we're going to send it to the business that helps us with this so that they can interpret this, and we'll get it directly to the Hammond families that need this. So I wanted to start off and apologize. We made 2 phone calls and we couldn't get an interpreter for this video. So I wanted to thank Governor Eric Holcomb for his executive order, which is very well thought out. I think he hit it right on the spot. I always thought Illinois and shutting down their government until June 1st was way too restrictive. I was worried that Governor Eric Holcomb was just going to throw open the economy starting on Monday and we would risk potentially infecting. And instead, what Governor Holcomb came out with was a very well thought out plan, in my opinion, to restart our economy, recognizing 2 counties in particular that have high infection rates, Lake County, unfortunately for us, and Marion County, and giving us a 1-week extension on restarting our economies here, and even giving mayors latitude that if they're uncomfortable moving forward with his proposal to restart the economy, we have the ability to hold back in our cities and towns. So I want to say thank you again to Governor Holcomb. Looks like we got most of our audience back, so I wanted to say that Governor Holcomb pointed out that the number of hospitalized patients across Indiana has dropped on the average for 14 days straight. That's one factor he took into consideration. Another factor is hospitals across our state have availability to handle any type of surge capacity. We have 40% beds available across the state. 70% of our ventilators are available as well. And I tell you, in Hammond, during our coronavirus task force meetings, we continuously get updates from Franciscan that they have 40% beds available right now. Testing has to be ramped up dramatically. All COVID symptomatic Hoosiers need to be tested ASAP, and Governor Holcomb has a goal to test 100,000 Hoosiers a month. I think actually I would hope that we could test even more than that, but that's a good goal to have. And Governor Holcomb wants to implement, starting immediately, a contact tracing program across our state, and he's hiring 500 people at the state level to help us out with the contact tracing program. So how does Governor Holcomb's executive order apply to us here in Hammond and in Northwest Indiana? I had lawyers pour through this. It's literally 30 or 40 page order, very explanatory. It explains each step of the way. We're currently in stage 1 under Governor Holcomb's order. And what is stage 1? We've been in stage 1 since March 24th. Stage 1 is now. The status quo that we're dealing with right now, and we've been dealing with since March 24th. Basically, everything's closed unless you're an essential business. Essential businesses like grocery stores, places like that. Governments are closed. City and counties, governments are closed. Schools are closed. Universities are closed. Masks are recommended to be worn in public. Church services are virtual only right now in stage 1. All of our trails across the region, across Hammond, are open, but the parks are closed for the most part. Social distancing is a requirement in stage 1, which we are right now. Restaurants and bars are carry-out only. No dining in during stage 1. Only essential travel is allowed. Stage 1. That's the stage we're currently in. The next milestone that we're going to hit is May 8th, which is Friday, a week from today. A week from today, the first step we're going to take in Lake County, actually across Indiana for this, is religious services could begin again in-house starting on next Friday. So next weekend, church services are allowed in Indiana, including Lake County, including Marion County, next weekend, not this weekend. So we have 1 week to go before we could resume church services. Pastors and deacons and church leaders across Indiana are being urged to keep anybody 65 and older at home, attended virtually, to keep social distance requirements in place. And keep in mind that in stage 2, there are limits to how many people are supposed to be in a room. I imagine church leaders should keep these kinds of things in mind. So if you're watching and you're a pastor or you're a leader of your church and you want to know when legally in Indiana you could begin your church services, not this weekend. We got one more weekend to go. Next weekend, churches across Indiana will open for the first time legally since mid-March. So that's good news. So Governor Holcomb's order gave Lake County and Marion County 1 week later to progress to stage 2. So if you're watching in Porter County or LaPorte County or any other county besides Lake County and Marion County, your counties, cities, and towns are progressing to stage 2 on Monday. That's May 4th. In Lake County and in Marion County, we have to, under the governor's order, wait 1 more week before we can progress out of stage 1, where we are now, into stage 2. So Porter County and LaPorte County, in the region where I live, are going to be moving to stage 2 1 week quicker than we will be here in Lake County. Stage 2. What is stage 2? For instance, things that are going to happen in stage 2. City Hall is going to open to the public for limited interactions by appointment only when stage 2 begins, which is May 11th. So Hammond City Hall, I'm not sure how other governments are going to approach this, will be open for limited interactions beginning next Monday. Not the coming Monday, next Monday, May 11th. Social distancing will be required, masks will be required, and limited interactions, like you make an appointment. I have an appointment with the building department. I have an appointment with the city controller's office. I have an appointment with the council member, so-and-so. These types of appointments will be allowed in stage 2, which begins next Monday, May 11th. Another thing that's unique about stage 2, currently in stage 1, we're only allowed to be in max gatherings of 10 people. In stage 2, that gets relaxed to up to 25 people. 25-person gatherings are allowed following social distancing guidelines. So that will begin in stage 2. So you'll see in Porter County and LaPorte County, gatherings can start to get larger legally on Monday. Whereas in Lake County, we have to wait a full week before that could begin. Gyms, fitness centers, community centers, like in Hammond, the Sportsplex, the Civic Center, the Shepherd Center, the YMCA, the Ice Cube, Planet Hollywood, or Planet Fitness, any type of gym, any type of community center like that, in stage 2, are closed. They will not be open in stage 2. So even though we are relaxing in Indiana, in Lake County on May 11th, we will not be, under the governor's executive order, opening up in Hammond the Sportsplex, the Shepherd Center, the Civic Center. Our playgrounds are going to remain closed. Our basketball courts and our soccer fields and our skateboard parks are going to remain closed. It's more like a continuation of stage 1 in that regard. Schools and universities, in Hammond, schools are closed, K through 12 for the rest of the year. Universities, last I checked, closed for the year. So schools and universities do not apply to stage 2. Horseshoe Casino, casinos in general under stage 2, closed still. So stage 2 is not going to reopen the Horseshoe Casino or any of the Northwest Indiana region casinos, or even in Michigan City, which is LaPorte County. Casinos still closed in stage 2. Doesn't matter which county you're from. What's open in stage 2? Non-essential retail and commercial open in stage 2 at 50% capacity. Shopping malls open at 50% capacity in stage 2. Restaurants, is that in stage 2 or is that in stage 3? I'm asking. Restaurants in stage 2 at 50%. Restaurant dine-in service in stage 2 at 50%. So that's good news, because there's a lot of people that work in the restaurant business. I get asked a lot of questions from the business community about, can I open up my restaurant on Monday? No, unfortunately you cannot. On stage 2, you can open up your indoor restaurant for dine-in at 50% in Lake County on May 11th. No bar service. So the bar scene is gone until further notice. We'll deal with that when we get to stage 3. So, City Hall opens, other government buildings may open as well. Gatherings go up in stage 2. Gyms, fitness centers, community centers are still closed under stage 2. Schools and universities still closed under phase 2. Casinos still closed under stage 2. But basically retail starts to open up. Commercial starts to open up 50% capacity. Shopping malls start to open up at 50% capacity. Dining into restaurants start opening up at 50% capacity. No bar scene. That's stage 2. Stage 2 plus 1 week, which is May 8th. Oh, that's stage 2 plus 1 week. May 8th. I apologize for the restaurateurs out there. May 18th is dine-in. I apologize to the restaurateurs that are watching me right now. I just had to go to the next page in my notes. Restaurants open up at 50% in-house dining, no bar service on May 18th, which is stage 2 plus 1 week. I apologize. So if you have a local White Castle or Shoop's or El Taco Real or great Mexican restaurants or great breakfast restaurants like The Wheel, you have to wait until May 18th to have dine-in service. 50% capacity, no bar scene. Hair salons, May 18th. Barber shops, May 18th. Nail salons, May 18th. Tattoo parlors, May 18th. Social distancing required. Appointments only. Employees must wear face coverings and by appointment only. May 18th for those groups. State government opens on a limited basis by appointment only on May 18th. Stage 2 still recommends if you're 65 and over, you stay at home whenever possible. If you're, susceptible to getting this disease, if you have pre-existing conditions, if you're 65 and over, stage 2 still has you at home through May 25th, I believe. So if you're 65 and over, it's essential business only if you're traveling outside of your home, even all the way through most of May under this order. Stage 3, under the governor's order, wants us to begin stage 3 on May 24th. That's a Monday. Now this is what happens during stage 3. 65 and over can go out under this order in stage 3. So May 24th, if you're 65 and over, that's one more clearing for you to be able to travel safely. Face coverings are still recommended in stage 3. Gatherings move up from 25 people to 100 people and social distancing required in stage 3. No travel restrictions in stage 3. You could travel for personal reasons. You could go visit people. Getting back to the niceties of life. You still are encouraged under stage 3 to continue remote work whenever possible. So let's talk about what opens in stage 3. Stage 3, you'll see retail stores and malls are allowed to increase their capacity to 75% in stage 3, which is May 24th. Gyms and fitness centers with restrictions can open in stage 3, which is May 24th. So you'll see the Sportsplex and the Civic Center and the YMCA and the Planet Fitness and those types of things can open May 24th, no sooner than May 24th for those. Playgrounds, basketball courts, soccer courts, tennis courts can open with social distancing May 24th. What is still closed at this point? Youth sports leagues, still closed May 24th. I get asked questions constantly by baseball families, softball families, soccer families. Youth sports, May 24th, still closed. What is still closed at this point? Bars and nightclubs, still closed unless they serve food. Cultural, entertainment, and sport venues, still closed. So, no professional sports, still closed at that point. No cultural or entertainment like museums and things like that, still closed. Schools, still closed on May 24th. Stage 4 is set to begin June 14th. Now, we're assuming that everything is still going great in all aspects, and we're reducing our numbers, and our hospitalizations are still down, and the testing is going well, and the contact tracing is going well. We're assuming everything's heading in the right direction. June 14th, stage 4 begins. What is stage 4? How does it change things? Stage 4, face covering becomes optional, not recommended. It's recommended, not required legally, just recommended. Face coverings becomes optional, June 14th. Maximum gatherings goes from 100 to 250 on stage 4, which is June 14th. State government buildings, maximum occupancy is allowed on stage 4. I imagine that includes city hall, county complexes, and things of that nature. Stage 4 is more getting back to business like we used to. Retail stores and malls can go to full capacity on stage 4, which begins June 14th. Dining room service can go up to 75% capacity in stage 4, which is on June 14th. Bars can go up to 50% capacity in stage 4, which is on June 14th. I know I'm repeating myself. If people are catching part of this, I want them to get the whole thing. Tourism and cultural entertainment events can happen at 50% capacity in stage 4. So theoretically, if there's a show happening and the promoter of the show can put it on with social distancing at 50%, theoretically it could happen after June 14th. It's not, I can tell you as a person that puts on shows, that's a very challenging situation, but theoretically, June 14th, it could happen. Recreational sports leagues can begin June 14th. So, how does that apply to baseball and softball? And baseball and softball, under the governor's executive order, cannot begin until June 14th in the state of Indiana. And mayors are allowed to be more restrictive. We cannot be more liberal, even if we wanted to. If you had a certain mayor that was a huge baseball fan and a huge baseball coach, and this mayor wanted to have tournaments in his city, under the governor's executive order, that is not legal until June 14th. Period. Amusement parks and water parks at 50% capacity on June 14th in stage 4 can begin. In stage 4, what is still closed? Parades until June 14th cannot happen. Large events like conventions cannot happen through June 14th. Sports events, professional, stage 4 cannot happen. Fairs, festivals, and parades in stage 4 cannot happen. Governor Holcomb hopes that stage 5 happens by July 4th. I think it's a wonderful goal for our nation's holiday to hopefully be back to business. What is stage 5? Stage 5 is back to business. There's very few restrictions. It's almost like life used to be in January and February of this year. Stage 5. The goal for Governor Holcomb in the executive order is to have Indiana to stage 5 by July 4th. Let's all hope and pray together that we make it there on time, because if we're at stage 5 by July 4th, life will be somewhat back to normal across Indiana, and I think that's a wonderful goal to have. Now, I've just explained to you the stages that we're going to be experiencing over the next few weeks. We're currently in stage 1 in Hammond and in Lake County and in Marion County, and we're not going to be able to go to stage 2 until May 11th at the soonest. So right now in the city of Hammond, I want to make a few announcements of how business is going to change over the next week, and so let's go through that right now. First thing, I want to remind everybody, worship services will be allowed in-house beginning next weekend. That's wonderful news for the churches that for the last 6 weeks haven't been able to have their flock and their congregation coming into their churches. We do want to urge the clergy and the church leaders that those members that are 65 and over are strongly encouraged to stay at home. We've all gotten very good at virtual meetings. You know, if they're potentially the type of person that if they catch this virus, it could be a fatal infection. I think that as church leaders, you should do your best to keep the vulnerable at home. So, but next weekend in Hammond, in Lake County, across the state of Indiana, worship services are allowed under Governor Holcomb's executive order. Not this weekend. This is our last weekend of virtual services. So please, to the church leaders across Indiana and across our city, one more weekend of compliance. with the stay-at-home order, and next weekend we'll be back to business, celebrating on Sundays with our family and with our friends and with our, with our faith families. So I'm looking forward to getting back to church again. City Hall will reopen to limited public appearances on Monday, May 11th. That's when City Hall's non-essential workers are ordered back to work. Monday, May 11th, which is 1 week from the upcoming Monday. City Hall will reopen to limited public appearances, by appointment only, basically, is what we're saying. And the last thing that's going to change in the city of Hammond is the Lost Marsh Golf Course will open to the public with social distancing requirements on Friday, May 8th, which is 1 week from today. The Lost Marsh Golf Course will open to the public with social distancing requirements on Friday, May 8th. I want to, again, thank our governor, Governor Eric Holcomb, for a well-thought-out order. I think it's a lot better in Illinois in regards. They just sort of set a date on paper. They just said, we're staying shut down till June 1st. I thought that was a little over the top, especially in light of how many people are struggling, not knowing how they're going to pay for their next set of groceries, not knowing how they're going to pay the next set of bills that are coming, having no income coming in. There's estimations right now that there's 10,000 open jobs in the city of Hammond that were filled just a couple months ago, and that breaks my heart. And I want to do everything I can safely to get those people back to work. So I want to let everybody know that as of this moment, I've reviewed Governor Holcomb's order, and I think it's outstanding. And I commend him, and I want everybody to know that we plan to adhere to the governor's orders as closely as possible in the city of Hammond, except if there's a spike or a hot spot that develops or something drastic happens in the meantime. I want to adhere almost word for word to Governor Holcomb's order because I think it's well thought out and logical. And I wanted to explain to the Hammond residents and to the residents across Northwest Indiana how this order affects you and how it affects the city of Hammond. I hope we made that very clear. Thank you very much for watching this, and have a good day. Stay safe.